All right. This one is, I did this little guy, boing, last year, and I called it Blue, no, where is it? Oh, Blue Tree Transcends Stormy Sky. Whew, that is really a stupid name. So artsy fartsy. Okay, anyhow, I'm gonna go. I was never happy, just like the other one I did the other day that I improved. I'm gonna go ahead and improve this one too. Let me just show you what I mean. I think the patterns are just so-so. I want to add thicker patterns, and also it's the fact that I painted directly on a white canvas. Little spots are showing through. So I'm really gonna add lots of little dots and more patterns, and maybe make it a softer blue, a little less white and greens. And down here, it's just dying to have a couple more of those little Van Gogh little edges. And I'll add some light too, like I did that other one. As you can see, it's also already framed. So first thing I need to do is to tape off the frame, and I'm going to do it where I'm going to put the paint. I'm going to do it with the paint. What the hell am I saying? I haven't even had one coffee yet. That's why I'm still babbling. I'm going to put it on the inside edge as much as I can. This is a floating frame so that there's a gap, because it really sucks. If you ever get paint on the inside of a floating frame, you kind of screw it up. I mean, if you care about your artwork or whatever painting, it screws things up because, you know, you have to paint over it. And these floating frames are like a very smooth veneered material, and paint has a texture. So even if you put white, if you've got a good eye for it, you'll see a little bit of that white, of the texture on the inside of the frame, which I have done before. So I'm being I'm probably doing average caution. I tend to be not very cautious. I tend to make messes extremely quickly. It feels more free. So for me, doing this is like a bit fastidious, but it's important. Okay, so I just put some painter's tape on there, and now, oh hey Mom. My mom just joined in. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in with the camera. Just found this feature on this camera which allows you to get in closer, which helps a lot for me because I don't want to have to be like have this tripod like right over my back. It's still pretty close, but okay. So I've got brushes washed. I'm going to pick out a brush, choose this one, and I'm going to get some paint. I'm just going to use some of the paint that I had on my palette yesterday. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm just going to go to town. Find a blue that I like. I don't know if you can see this. That looks like a nice blue. Add a little bit of white to it. And I'm going to go in. Oh yeah, that's a really nice blue. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go in with a certain type of brush stroke, trying to cover up as much of those little, oh, that's a beautiful blue. I don't know what that is. Anyhow, trying to cover up as much of those little white spots as I can. Here we go. Start in the corner so you can actually see what I'm doing. Cover all these little white spots, because at the time when I was just starting doing these type of paintings, I wasn't didn't realize that I really should have done an undercoat. So, lessons learned. If you're going to do lots of patterns made up of tiny brush strokes, it's probably smart to do an undercoat so you're not left with hundreds of tiny little dots of white, unless you want the effect. Now, unfortunately for me, the effect wasn't as nice as I liked, as much as I hoped. Right, I wasn't really thinking too much about it at the time. I'm just going to mix a different color. If you could see, it kind of makes it like a speckled, but not a nice speckled. Kind of like a unfinished speckled feeling. So I'm going to go in with a few variations of this blue, which I don't know what it's called, but it's nice. Okay. Hi Cheryl, good morning. Okay. The other thing too is I want to add some thicker brush strokes. Okay, let's just see if you can see a difference. You probably can't see a huge difference. Still needs a bit of work, but that's the general idea. So I'm just going to keep on doing this for a while. I really can't see this being too exciting. I'm also looking for areas where there's not just white, but another color where I can put a dot of another color on top of it. So it has a kind of layering effect. So those are two things I'm looking for right now. Like watch, right there. Okay. Let me pull back. Just because the stupid thing's in the way. Okay, I'm gonna read what this guy says. What it says here. Dan says, Josh, would that work for you if you added a blue as a background on the canvas? Actually, yeah. So Dan, I was just literally just like saying that a minute or so ago, that I really should have done a wash of color first. That would have been smart. But so many times I just started painting and I don't really think about it. I just sort of go with the flow and see what happens. And so it was a failed experiment because of exactly what you said. I should have used a wash of a color behind it. That would have been the better thing to do. And I've been doing that actually a lot since then. It's more fun, swashing big colors around. So, yes, you're right. So it is kind of annoying to go in with these tiny little brush strokes. Then again, maybe it might have a cool effect. What was another? I had another painting in my hand the other day, just earlier on. Oh yeah, okay. So I've it took me maybe like just I don't know how many hours I spent past 2 days editing videos. What I got to do is I take the video, I stream it live, while at the same time I'm recording it to my hard drive, because the Facebook quality isn't very good. So I have recording an HD version on my computer, which then I have to upload to YouTube, and you gotta like write all kinds of descriptions and keep it organized. And I was really behind on this, so I had about like 30 or 40 videos, and I was doing live stream videos and then these little summaries which I take on my phone, where I try to sort of explain the progress I made. So I spent like most of yesterday just sitting there organizing these files, putting them in the right order, uploading, and I finally was able to put some paintings, like the what is it called, the orange versus the orange. I finally was able to post it because I really wanted to didn't want to post until I had everything together. Like I had all the videos up on my page, which were linked to YouTube. So that's what I've been doing, just silly technical stuff, just so that I can post it. And by the way, I also have to do, before I can post it, I have to take a high-res photograph with a DSLR, which only works when the light is a certain time of day and a certain section in my house. I'm actually outside, so sometimes I might wait like a week before the light is right, and it's usually like 5:30, 6:30. The sun is in the opposite direction. It's like lots of nice backlight, and it's slightly sunny, but not too bright. Anyhow, my point of this rambling is that Birches of Orange number 5, I have all the videos ready, excuse me. They're up on YouTube. They're ready to be added to my webpage. I've already taken the high-res photo, and as I was just moving off of this easel to move out of the way, I noticed that the brush strokes, I think I want to go in and add more little strokes to it. And what the fuck am I saying? One thing I've realized. Let me just read what it says here. What happened to your thumb? I don't know. Thanks for the answer. We learned from the failed experiments. Love it. Yeah. My thumb. Oh, that? Ah, just a little bit. I'm kind of lazy sometimes, and I just pulled the skin off because it was loose. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing bad. Just like I don't really bite my nails, but sometimes I get lazy and I just pulled it off. So that's the exciting thing. Oh yeah, what was I going to try to say? One of the reasons why I'm talking so much, I really kind of had a bit of an epiphany last time I was painting, which is I find that talking while I'm painting helps reduce the tinnitus. I've got very, very severe tinnitus, which is ringing in the ear, and I've noticed that when I'm talking, it takes the focus away and helps a bit. So really, I'm not really having that much interesting things to say. I'm just avoiding the silence, because that's when it really hits you. And it sort of hits me out of the blue. Like I know what's going on all the time, but sometimes it's just like all of a sudden you're like overwhelmed with this ringing sound. Okay. Now, so I've just done a little section. I'm still probably not even that noticeable. No, it's not super noticeable. But for some reason it's important to me. I can't explain it. What I'm going to do is this, because the camera's so close, I'm going to try moving the camera really close and tilt it so I can actually get my body in here. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up, I need more paint because I want to do thicker strokes. I want the paint to actually come off of the canvas. So right now I'm just putting some white down, and then a blue, and I had some, let's try this really nice. Okay. So the nice thing about this blue is pretty close to what I want directly. Yeah, cerulean blue hue. So this one I'm not even going to mix. It's coming straight from the tube, right on the brush. And I'm going to try to, it's too wet. I'm going to try to like scoop it in a way that leaves chunks. Yeah, there's a little chunk. It's just, I shouldn't have wet my brush. Ah, crap, you're pissing me off. So I just, I need more of this. I shouldn't have, I just, by habit, I dunk my brush in the water, but this the consistency of this paint is out of the tube is perfect for what I want to do. Alright. This is what I'm talking about. Where is it? Right here. That consistency is just perfect. Just stir it up a little bit. Right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it from the side. You know, this blue might be too similar to the blue underneath. So I think I might mix in some color. Let's try. I've got this blue here, which I think is a kind of a purpley. Look how strong it is. I just barely have to touch it, just to hit it a tiny bit, and then it darkens up the rest. Okay, so there's a nice blue. That's better. God damn, there's a hair. Where is it? That's very close to the blue I had before, but very slightly different. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're making some progress. That's a nice blue. I love fishing shows because all you ever hear is, oh, that's a nice fish you got there. Oh, she's a beauty. Beautiful fish. It's like the most relaxing thing I can think of is watching a fishing show. Oh, that's all that ever happens. It's like, oh, she's a beauty. Now let's put her back, eh? She was a, well, see, okay, I don't know if you can see, but the brush strokes now are looking nicer here up in the corner. They're, let's see if I can go, if you can see it from the angle. Oh yeah, much better, but it's going to take a little while. Okay, I feel like working down somewhere else. Let's go down a little bit lower. Ah, you son of a motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, let's try down, I don't know, let's try over here. I don't know if you just noticed, but I will come in with bigger brush strokes. Just sort of like, I don't know if you can see this. Sort of just scooping the paint right on there. Just to make a different pattern so it doesn't always look so monotonous. So maybe one day someone might go, put their face really close to it and go, oh, I see what he's done here. He took his brush and he pulled it down, and because I don't know what kind of nerd I am, but that's what I used to always do as a kid. I used to like when it really close to the paintings and just getting it like how the person was painting, like what they were actually doing. Doesn't sound that thrilling. I like to do it. Okay, so now this could use a big. There we go. That's kind of nice. Son of a what? Oh, yeah, I've got a trucker's mouth. I think my goal is to become a very famous painter so that I could swear freely and people won't be offended. They'll just say I'm eccentric. There, that's it. That's my goal right there. Let me move down this thing a bit. I want to see what I'm painting on the computer. Okay, that's good. All right, now let's go. Throw some paint on here. I'll tell you a good swearing story. When I was about, I want to say 18, a bunch of friends used to always hang out. One of my friends' dad was a pretty funny character. I think he worked it for IBM. I can't remember, but they're well enough to have for him. He had a Lotus, which is like this little European sports car, and we all went up to their cottage, and there was about 7 or 8 of us, and we were all pretty. I don't know what it was. We were a good bunch of kids because we would drink and party, but we were never like. We're always respectful, and my friend's mom was there, and we were all like in sort of the kitchen, about all 8 of us, and we were all sort of like having some drinks and hanging out. And we heard the Lotus. Now the funny thing about the Lotus is that it's very low, and they had this really rocky kind of, it wasn't even a driveway, it was like a little road. Anyhow, so I love his entrance because we hear the Lotus pull up, and and he comes out and he's wearing like a business suit with a briefcase. He looks like something out of a Magritte painting. You know, the guy with the bowler hats. He looks like a very stiff businessman, and he walks in, and there's a stairway to go upstairs to the left, and he sees all this. We're all like, "Hey, Mr. You know, his last name," and he doesn't say anything. He just looks at us and goes upstairs. A minute later, he comes down wearing like ripped shorts and like this dirty T-shirt, walks past us, goes right in the fridge, grabs a beer, and then says, "Hey," and it was like a moment of a movie. It was so cool. Anyhow, back to the whole point of the story about swearing. He was busy working away. Like he sort of ignored us that weekend, like he normally always did. Anyhow, he was trying to hammer something to a tree, so I thought I'd offer to help. So I walked over and said, "Hey, Mister, like whatever, let me, eat a hand." He's like, "Yeah, okay." Anyhow, so he's holding it, and then he hits his own thumb with the hammer or something like that, and then he started swearing, like it was almost like poetry. He said some things I remember to this day, and I'll probably get banned from YouTube for saying it, but I remember saying, "Jesus fucker on the cross." I was like, I'd never heard of that one before. And he said a whole bunch of other ones, and it was just like sublime. I was a little shocked too. Maybe I was younger than 18. I don't know, but I remember just thinking like, just going, whoa, what's happening? Here's this. I thought he was very respectable and like upright businessman. And yeah. So at that cottage, we did some. It was over by Gull Lake, and there were these cliffs, sort of, that we would climb up and we would jump off. And that was back in the days when I was definitely a little nuttier. So myself and my friend, I remember Glenn and I started being the most daredevil-y. You had to, climb up the side of the hill, and there was like a rope left over that you sort of like, I don't know if it's, what's it called, the opposite of rappelling when you're climbing up. But we would jump off these cliffs, just straight into the water. And it was pretty far. I would say, I know it was at least 40 feet. I think the super, super highest one was something like 60 feet. And I remember that at some point we knew it was like, okay, you have to wear shoes because it would hit your feet so hard that you couldn't jump into bare feet. And I have this picture, one picture someone took of Glenn and I, and we're in midair, and all I can see is the cliff wall behind us, and we're like spread eagled in the air. It's pretty cool. I don't know where that picture is. It's upstairs. Okay. Well, maybe back up a little bit. There we go. Lower the tripod thing a bit. There we go. Now I have a reference for where the camera is. Move it up a bit. Okay. I'm going to start over here in this corner. This is going to make the painting far more interesting. Having so many of these textures coming off of it. Now, wouldn't it have been cool if this was like 150 years ago, when there was no art that was like this. No one had thought of Impressionism. Or maybe they had. Maybe there were a bunch and we just never heard about them. But wouldn't it be neat if this was like somehow like. I think that's how it happened for most of the great artists, you know? They're at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Because there's so many thousands and thousands of super talented people you're never going to hear about, really. It's so funny the way art is valued. So subjective. And when you get down to the nitty gritty stuff, like if you get down to the really, really high end, it's less about appreciation of art. It's more about investing in money laundering and storage of funds, and you know. What would it be like to be one of those people that you make something that people instantly go insane for? Like, it would be cool if just like doing these little brush strokes here suddenly made someone go, "Oh my God, this makes me feel so good." Oops, I've been painting away from the canvas, sorry. Okay, what should I do? I'm going to move the camera down a bit. Here. There we go. I'm pretty close to this camera. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hold on a second. I'm going to do that trick. I'm going to go like this. Oh, looks like as close as the camera wants to go. Okay. Now, I've got a feeling that's a digital zoom, which might be a bad idea. Digital zoom means it's not actually zooming in, it's just cropping up pixels and showing you a lower resolution but wider view. Yeah, that's probably what's happening. Let me get rid of that. Let me zoom out a bit. So as you zoom out, it becomes a bit more fisheye lens, wide angle lens. But I think you'll get higher quality if I just move the camera closer, back like this. Too much time. Actually, you know what? It's starting to look nice. You can't see this at all, but if up here, it's really. Yeah, you can't. I'm looking at the camera and on the screen, you can't see this the pad, like the thickness coming off the paint up there. I'm sure, I'm getting kind of excited here. I'm sure once I'm done, I'll have to take it, move the camera in a way where the light hits the edges a bit more, and you can see what I'm talking about, because it does look much better. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. From my point of view, it is definitely more attractive. So I'm gonna have to come back in here or around all over the place and add more, add some purples back in. So, yeah, and it's also nice to have like layering effects, lots of layers. I think I'm running out of things to say. And that's bothersome because my tinnitus is pretty loud right now. I'd say it's about a 6.5, where 10 is unbearable torture, you know, crazy, and 0 is nothing. It's about a 6.5. So it's kind of like having a radio playing next to your head. And I'm trying to think of things to say, so that'll go away a little bit, please. Thank you very much. Let's try coming over to this section now. I think I like to thick paint from probably a group of 7 influenced me from that perspective. You know, I think I'm not sure if I've ever seen a Klimt painting it in real life. I wonder if I have. I gotta go to the art gallery soon, the AGO. I always had gave me such weird feelings. Like, it get me all excited to go and paint, and then but also at the same time, it's discouraging. Can't explain it. I spent 1 or 2 summers at the AGO art school in the summertime when I was young. Mom, if you're still online, I don't know if you can remember when that was. I want to say I was 15 and 16 or 14. And almost every art school I've ever been to, 90% of the time it was just letting me just do whatever the hell I wanted. And that was probably the right thing. Like art school in high school was great because the teachers were really let you do what you wanted. It was very encouraging. It worked for me. There wasn't a lot of technique that I felt I could learn from them, because I felt like I taught most of the stuff is self-taught, just by doing it. So, but I learned a lot about art history, and not just art history, but history in general. Like, I think there was such a correlation Well, here's a quick funny story in high school. I was a cocky kid. I was super, super cocky when it came to art. Right? Like I was like untouchable in my own mind. Anyhow, we had this course called, it was some sort of social studies class. Anyhow, I was being my normal cocky, jokey self, and they were giving out assignments for, it was like it was worth like 60% of your grade or something. It was like the big assignment, and I was what was it Mr. Webb? I can't remember what the teacher was, but he's like, Druckman, okay, here's your assignment. You're gonna do the history of chairs. He wanted to obviously challenge me and punish me at the same time, and I fully accepted it because I hadn't immediately. I knew what I was going to do, because this was sort of like a sociology class, and I had to do art, history, music, and all these things related. What I immediately decided is I was going to come in early, like hours before like class or school started, and I was going to do drawings, chalk drawings of chairs that represented the art style of the period. So, for example, Rococo is a very, like I remember this to this day, is a French, very elaborate, over-the-top kind of like just opulent style. And I did, I think, maybe about 10 different chairs, each representing a period of art and history combined. And I walked through, and these were really nice drawings. Like when everyone walked in the room, they were like, "Whoa, what the hell!" Like, and it was cool because it would have to be erased. And this is before we even, forget about cell phones. This was like 1986 or 87. And what I did is I did a presentation. I started from one end of the room where I talked about what was happening in the culture and music and history. And it was all based on the visual of the chair. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. And I'm not that same cocky, arrogant kid anymore, thankfully. The best way to do this. Whew. I need to put my thick paint on, so I'm going to go and I'm going to try this color. Let's see what this is like. This is a very nice, rich blue. It might even be too similar to the ones I've already worked on. Let's just put some dabs of it down. I noticed here there's lots of greens in this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and use up as much of this by putting, actually, I'm going to put some purple in here. Let's see what happens if I take this, just tip a touch of purple and move it in. Definitely warmed it up a lot. Look at that. Yeah, because look at all the purples around here. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can't tell because this is just a webcam, but trust me, this is a nice color. Maybe I'll start adding different brush strokes, different directions and things. So the way I'm doing it right now is I'm sort of tapping. I'm getting a blob of paint, and then I'm sort of tapping and pulling back, so it like leaves. It's not like I'm brushing. It's more like I'm dabbing it on. Isn't that exciting? I'm going to try some more purple. I'm going to go up here where I had a big blob of white. I mean, use it. Oh, look at this. Look at that. That's the planes from the. Apparently, there's an air show, the CNE, which is a Canadian Exhibition Center in Toronto. I don't want to have too much of a variation where it's purples going to blues. I like the kind of uniformity, and I think the reason why I like it is when you step back, so that there's an overall effect of this one strange kind of blooming tree. Oops, I'm painting too low again. Because I can't see what I'm doing. The reasons I'm doing this is it's kind of like a diary. I'm thinking one day my son might check this out when he's older, and it'll be like me talking to him. I don't know if that makes any sense. Are you getting that? Okay, I need more. Yeah, look at the big globs. It's just so much nicer. I'm gonna try adding little tiny things, so one day somebody might go and go, look at those tiny little brush strokes. Look at them. What was he thinking? What kind of madman would go in? Who's there, Nugget? Who's there? Go. Who's there, Nugget? Go take a look. Go to the door. You tell him, Nugget. Okay, it definitely has some redeeming qualities now up here. Before it was just kind of blah. Now it's starting to wake up. Unfortunately, it looks like the frame rates are skipping quite a bit. Sometimes it happens. I noticed that I'm using OBS software for streaming, and when it gets about 14%, it's going to be choppy for you. So I have to sort of monitor it, and there isn't a hell of a lot I can do, unfortunately, other than replace my router and get a higher upload stream. And I've been meaning to do that for a long time. The problem is I have to switch from you know, from DSL to whatever they have cable and blah blah blah. And I just don't have to deal with that. So we're just gonna have to suck it up and get this chunky. Yeah, 14.2. That sucks. So you're probably not having a very good experience. You're missing your ride. What? What in the hell are you talking about, Cheryl? You're missing your ride. You probably said that like about 20 minutes ago, and I just noticed now. I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just gonna keep on painting. Just gonna keep on painting. Making little happy little dots. Are you watching this? I'll take some of that purple I was just working on. Yeah. I like to do this sometimes and just sort of quickly switch. So I just took some of that purple that's up there and I'm sort of playing with it a bit here. Okay, I feel like it's getting close to an hour because I'm starting to get tired. I found that my body, I got a real groove for an hour. I got one solid hour and things start to slow down. It's like I've used up my creative quantity, and then my head is starting to pound a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna have some more of this paint, this cerulean blue. Oh, the planes. Not bad on this end and quite fluid and viewable. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, the planes overhead. Yeah, listen to my ride. Okay, I got it. See, I'm not so dumb. So what I'm doing now is trying to add some thickness. I don't know if you can see that at all, but really, each brushstroke is pumping out some good chunks here. And I think I might just have some big strokes. Let's put some big brush strokes out. It's like here. Oh yeah, my head's starting to hurt now. Damn it. This sucks. I always have this battle between this fucking tinnitus. Oh, I hate you. It's like stealing my life from me. It's like a thief. It is. It's like I want to just keep painting. I just want to keep doing this stuff, and it's just like pulling me down. It's like a net. It feels like a net over me. Oh, wow. I'll tell you, I really, 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 really don't complain. Like, I don't tell people these things, except now that I'm doing this, it seems like that's all I talk about. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna puke. Sorry. Come on, just go away. Just go away. Just give me some peace for a few minutes. Yeah, it feels like there's like a weight on me. It feels like there's like this heavy net is slowly pulling me into the floor, and my eyes are starting to hurt. It's all because of stupid ringing. We should all be so grateful when we don't feel anything. I was talking about this yesterday, how when you, what's it called? When you have like a brain freeze from eating something cold, in my experience, like when it goes away so fast, it's like the pleasure of feeling nothing is so good. I've got to remind ourselves how lucky we are when there's nothing wrong. Like, I hate going to the hospital like everybody else does. And every time I've ever gone to the hospital, it's like, oh my God, like, I hate being here. I have to be more grateful for when there's nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Whew. So I'm going to be grateful for that there's nothing much more horrible. Because there's other people have it so much worse, right? Okay, that's good, that's good, it's helping. A little pep talk. A little bit of shut the hell up, quit complaining, you're gonna be fine. I think it's winning. It's winning. It's beating me right now. It's too loud. Oh, come on, man. Here, I think this is nice. Let's do this. Oh, man, it's like every second I'm oh, okay. An idea for I'm just gonna talk. One of my ideas for painting is to show like I guess a self-portrait or something with all these like this kind of stuff streaming out of the ear as if it's the tinnitus, sort of like just something just noisy. I also have an idea where I was gonna paint Trudeau with stuff flowing out of his mouth. You can interpret it how you want, whether it's rhetoric or its intelligence, doesn't matter. I actually started a painting based on Trudeau's eyes because it's amazing how much physical perception affects people's ideas about them and what they have to say. And you know, he's kind of a pretty boy, which is nothing wrong with that. People like change their opinion based on how you look, blah 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 blah. Oh man, I think I've lost this battle. Yeah, I've lost this battle. I gotta stop. Alright, okay. Whew. So let's have a look here. Let's have a look. If you could see, there's now thickness to these brush strokes. And my plan is to Yeah, it still looks there's too much white still poking through. I want this to be a bit more monotone, solid blue, but see how little pockets of white are still coming through? I don't want that. And down here, I'm going to add a bit of, I'm going to lighten this thing up. I'm going to add a couple strokes around the sky, the Van Gogh swirls, which I love. Even the fields, a little bit of stuff, something there, and all little sparkles. This is too vertical, these lines here, so I'll put some grassy type stuff in. But yeah. So memo to self, do a wash of color if you want to have lots of little brush strokes. Because I think I could have achieved the same effect with a hell of a lot less work. Oh, I know what I do. I should do some little patterns. Yeah. I'm going to go in and I'm going to draw some stuff. This is kind of like, I stole some of this from Klimt. When I look at some of his paintings, he did Klimt and Rodin, Auguste Rodin. Yeah, Auguste Rodin. Look at this. They go in and they make little, cool little, I've done this a lot. So most of my paintings with the circles and shit. Oh, fuck. I've done this. Whew. So I'm just bringing my brush across, and it's mixing some of those things that are already there, and it's giving a bit more like fluidity. It's adding kind of like movement. That's all I can describe. Yeah. Okay. That was kind of fun. Like I'm being very gentle with this. Like I'm barely even bringing it across. Okay. I really want to continue, but that's it for me. I'm gonna go lie down. Boom. All right, thanks for watching.